Have you ever felt like your prayers are hitting a ceiling, echoing back to you with no answer? Maybe today your heart is heavy, your mind racing, and all you want is a sign, just a whisper that someone is listening. Pause, breathe in, feel the weight of the silence pressing in, not the kind that soothes, but the kind that makes you wonder if you're truly alone. Your shoulders tense, your chest tightens, and you catch yourself staring at the ceiling, waiting. Maybe you're tired of waiting for answers that seem to never arrive, tired of carrying questions that have no voice. And still, despite the exhaustion, you keep showing up, hoping, searching, not giving up. Even in the quiet, you refuse to let go of hope. But what if this silence is not what it seems? What if waiting isn't punishment, but something gentler, a space being made for you, just out of sight? Maybe, just maybe, this emptiness is not emptiness at all, but the start of something new. Don't rush. Let yourself linger in this moment. There's something here for you, hidden in the quiet, waiting to be found. How long have you been carrying a weight you can't quite name? Maybe it's been months or even years since you last felt truly light inside. There are days when exhaustion settles like fog, blurring the lines between what you feel and what you think you should feel. Have you ever wondered if you've hidden your pain so deeply that even you can barely find it anymore? Sometimes, it's easier to pretend you're fine than to admit how tired your soul has become. It's not just you. Even those who seem so certain, so steady, have their moments of trembling. There are nights when faith goes quiet, when hope feels thin and far away. And maybe you've asked yourself, if I struggle to believe, does it mean I'm failing? The world tells us to be strong, to hold ourselves together. But what about the days when even breathing feels like work? Maybe you felt ashamed for not being able to will yourself into peace, for feeling empty when you think you should be full. Have you ever sat in silence and wondered if your questions are too heavy, your doubts too loud? There's a quiet ache in admitting you're not okay, especially when you think you should be. Sometimes, the hardest thing is to be honest with yourself about the struggle. Maybe you've worn a smile while your heart is sinking, answered, "I'm fine," when you're anything but. Is it possible you've convinced everyone else, and maybe even yourself, that you're stronger than you really feel? No one told you how lonely it could be to carry questions without answers, to sit in the dark and wait for a dawn you can't predict. But here you are, feeling the weight, wondering if anyone else has ever felt this tired, this unsure. If you could set down the burden, even for a moment, would you recognize yourself? Sometimes, when all seems still, something stirs beneath the surface, like a seed, hidden in darkness, quietly splitting its shell while no one watches. There's a kind of comfort in the way the earth holds that seed, sheltering it from harshness above, letting it grow roots before asking it to reach for the light. Perhaps the silence isn't empty at all. Maybe it's a womb where newness is shaped in secrecy. Maybe the heaviness I carry is only the weight of something being formed, not the absence of life, but its earliest stirring. I remember moments when a gentle warmth brushed against my exhaustion, as if a soft breeze moved through a closed room. There have been mornings when, for no reason I could name, I woke with a little less ache, a tiny space in my chest that wasn't crowded by fear. I've stood up on days when I thought I had no strength left, surprised to discover my legs still holding me, my breath still moving in and out. Sometimes I think even the quietest night is full of invisible work. Roots weaving unseen beneath the frost, sap rising in branches long before any bud appears. Maybe the ache is not a void, but a field being readied for rain. Maybe the waiting is a slow unfolding, not a punishment, but a gentle preparation. It's strange. The smallest things can carry hope. The hush before a summer storm, when the air is sweet and expectant. The faintest glow on the horizon, long before sunrise. The memory of being held, once by arms I couldn't see. Even now, in the hush, I sense something. Not answers, not certainty, just a soft suggestion that I'm not abandoned. That something unseen is moving, quietly, patiently, on my behalf. And for this moment, that is enough. Maybe this isn't abandonment, but the hush that settles when the world is paused and breath is held. Maybe what you're living is the silence of a presence that doesn't need to prove itself to be real. This is the place where waiting isn't empty, where it forms a quiet field beneath the surface, preparing for things unseen. What once looked like an ending, what felt like a sealed room, begins to reveal itself as a hidden womb. The darkness that seemed to press in from all sides is now more like soil, cradling a seed. There's a tenderness in the quiet that you almost missed. In every moment of exhaustion, in every sigh you thought was wasted, something has been quietly unfolding. Perhaps you're not standing still, but being carried inward, gestated, shaped, made ready for what can't yet be spoken. The pause is not absence, it is careful attention. The emptiness is not neglect, it is shelter for slow growth. The silence is not a void, it is the gentle weight of a hand that steadies, unseen. So if you have wondered whether you have been forgotten, if you have felt left behind or overlooked, maybe this is the hidden way things begin. It's possible that the ache you carry is proof of something being prepared inside you. The field is not barren, only waiting for rain. The seed is not dead, only waiting for its time to break open. This is the hush before dawn, the breath before the first light. To name this moment is to call it what it is. The quiet forming of peace, the slow anchoring of hope, the sacred waiting where presence is real even when unspoken. It is possible that what you are living is not the end, but the careful weaving of newness in the dark. Maybe right now, you feel a gentle relief, as if a weight has quietly shifted inside you. Or perhaps a single tear found its way down your face, and you're not even sure why. If something in these words made sense to you, without you needing to explain it or even fully understand, know that this is faith in its simplest form, a small yes whispered in the heart. You don't have to have all the answers. Sometimes just admitting that these echoes of hope reached you is more than enough. If you want, you can write an amen as a way of saying, "This touched me," or simply rest with the thought, "I'm still here. I'm still listening." That's more than enough. And if you feel alone in this quiet moment, remember, there are others listening too, quietly, perhaps silently hoping for the same gentle sign, the same soft renewal. You're not the only one searching for peace in the spaces between words. Across the silence that holds us, hearts are waiting together, even if we never see each other's faces or hear each other's voices. This is a sacred kind of belonging, where each soul's silent longing is recognized and held. So allow yourself to remain open, just as you are, even if it's only for a little while longer. The story isn't finished yet. There's a presence moving quietly in these pauses, drawing near, preparing to reveal something deeper. In this waiting, in this shared quiet, something holy is already beginning to unfold. Maybe, in this quiet moment, you begin to sense something gentle unfolding within you. Perhaps you notice that even when you felt most alone, there was a silent presence beside you, steady, patient, not demanding anything in return. God was never far. He never turned away, not even on those days when you couldn't find words for prayer, when all you managed was a sigh or a silent ache. Even then, He remained near, never leaving your side, never measuring your worth by your strength or your certainty. Jesus didn't come for the flawless or the fearless. He came for hearts just like yours, tired, questioning, longing for rest. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to perform or pretend. All your doubts and struggles, every moment you wished you could disappear, none of it drove Him away. On the contrary, He drew even closer, quietly holding space for your pain, waiting with you through the silence. Even your uncertainty was safe in His presence. There is nothing you need to do to deserve this nearness. There is no test to pass, no standard to reach. If your faith has been nothing more than a whisper, if your hope has flickered like a candle in the wind, still, you have never been abandoned. God never gave up on you, not for a second, not even when you thought about giving up on yourself. Maybe you're starting to realize that the truest kind of faith is simply letting yourself be held. right here, in the middle of your questions and your longings. Perhaps, all along, He has been speaking softly, patiently, words that reach across centuries and find you now. What if everything your heart longs for is already being whispered to you? What if the peace you crave is closer than you ever imagined? Stay with this hope for a moment. Let open a space inside you for what comes next. Maybe you didn't know, but this silent waiting, the ache of not having all the answers, already has a name in the scriptures. All that you carry, all that you've tried to hold together in the quiet, every question and longing, none of it is invisible. There's a word that has traveled through centuries to reach this very moment with you. Even now, when peace feels like a distant shore. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. John 14, verse 27. This isn't just an old promise left in faded ink. It's a presence that sits gently beside you, in the rawness and the quiet, in every breath that aches for rest. The peace spoken here is not a peace that demands certainty or strength. It isn't something you have to achieve or prove you deserve. It arrives in the space where you are vulnerable, where you doubt, where you simply exist. This peace is wide enough to hold your heaviness, kind enough to cradle your uncertainty, patient enough to wait with you through the night. It doesn't sweep away the ache or rush your heart to answers. It settles in quietly, asking nothing more than your tired presence. Even as you feel unsteady, even as you whisper your smallest yes, this peace finds you, right here, right now. You don't need to be strong for it. You don't need to feel worthy of it. This peace knows your name, recognizes your longing, and is not afraid of your silence. It is already here, as real as the breath you draw, anchoring you in this moment, inviting you to rest. Maybe today, your deepest prayer is simply to remain standing, quietly witnessing the hours as they pass. Sometimes, faith is nothing more than a gentle sigh that carries hope, even when words have faded. You don't have to run. The seed of the word grows in darkness, while you do nothing more than breathe and let your soul rest. In the silence of your routine, in the ordinary weight of a tired body, in the gentle persistence of waiting, there's a faith that endures, soft and steady, without spectacle or noise. The journey might be inward. It may unfold beneath the surface, where no one sees, and yet it is real. Even if nothing seems to change, even if your hands are empty, the invitation remains, not to strive, but to stay, to allow the peace you have received to settle quietly within you, anchoring you in the calm beneath every storm. This is not about proving anything, nor about reaching for some distant perfection. It is the simple, sacred practice of being here, breathing, waiting, letting the promise of peace echo through the fragile spaces of your day. In the hush of unremarkable moments, in the pauses between tasks, your faith lives and breathes, hidden but alive. Let yourself be gently held by the truth that you are not alone in this silent perseverance. Others wait too, and God remains, nearer than your own breath, content to dwell with you in this unhurried, honest presence. To live what you have received can be as small as a whisper, as quiet as a steady heartbeat. The journey continues, not outward but inward, where hope is planted and peace takes root, as you simply remain anchored in love. Today, Lord, I come to you without the right words. Sometimes all I have is this quiet breath, this gentle ache that sits with me. I don't want to pretend I'm strong, not before you. You know, every tired thought, every restless longing, every bit of silence that I carry. I'm not here to impress or to hide. I just want to be real with you, even if all I can do is sit in your presence and let my soul whisper. I confess, Lord, I am tired. I don't always understand how to trust when I feel so small, or how to hope when the days seem endless and heavy. Sometimes, my faith feels more like a question than an answer. But even in this, I sense you close, in the hush, in the waiting, in the slow turning of the day. Thank you for not letting go, even when I wondered if I could hold on. Thank you for holding me when I have nothing left to offer but my honesty. Teach me to rest here in the quiet place where you meet me. Anchor me in your peace, not because I have it all together, but because you stay even when everything else feels uncertain. Let my doubts and my waiting become soil for new hope, like a seed hidden beneath the earth, learning to trust the dark before it sees the sun. I offer this unfinished heart, this small courage to remain, this willingness to breathe and wait with you. Remind me that your presence is enough, that I don't have to fill the silence with answers or rush the slow work of becoming. Here I am, Lord, in the silence, in the longing, in the hope that grows quietly. Thank you for being the steady ground beneath me, the gentle light in my ordinary days. Amen. God is still with you, even now. Even when you don't feel Him, He remains quiet, patient, holding you in ways you may not notice yet. The seed planted today will grow in its own time, watered by grace and cared for in silence. If today all you managed was to breathe, know that this too is prayer. You are not alone, and you never have been. Here, your questions are welcome, your silence is welcome, and your heart is safe. If these words found a home in you, let your amen be a gentle echo, a sign of life quietly unfolding. Like a silent gesture of faith, a simple sign, a like, a share, can be a blessing for someone else longing for peace in their own quiet. And if you know someone who is waiting in silence, share this moment with them. This is a space you can always return to whenever you need to breathe, to rest, or to remember that you're loved, held, and never forgotten. If you wish to keep walking with us, you are welcome. This space is yours too. For now, rest in the peace that holds you. The journey continues quietly together.